listen, this conversation between you and me, it doesn't leave this phone, okay? I'm trying to get rid of this guy's contract because I'm bringing in some higher paid players, all right? And what you're offering me for Lekwe is way under his valuation. He's got a 27 million euro release fee clause, and you're only offering me 5. I feel insulted. Okay? Come back to me when you have a better valuation, a better bid than just 5 million. I'll call you back. You heard none of that. You absolutely heard nothing of that. Lekwe's not being sold, okay? You didn't hear any of that. All right? Good? Good. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here. Welcome back to the Basque Boys, and thank you very much once again for all the continued support on the series. We're just about to start Season 8, and with it, we're going to open up the season with a match versus Celta Vigo. After that, we're going to wrap up the rest of our transfer window, and then do the Champions League group stage draw. But before we get to that, we had an entire offseason to try and figure out what to do with our squad. Get rid of some old wood, get rid of some dead wood, and then try and bring in some fresh faces, either transfers or promotions from underneath, to try and revamp the squad and hopefully make it better, if it could be possibly any better, than what it was last season. So firstly, let's get into those. Now, I'd sold 5 players for money that had some significance to the club this past season or in seasons past, and this one was unfortunately one that I had no control over. Victor Garay sold to Manchester City for 6 million euros, which was his release fee clause at the time. As you can see, he's also currently being loaned out at Napoli, which is strange because he himself wanted to get more first-team football, and I honestly couldn't offer it to him here at his current age, at his current development. He would also be playing behind Echeniz, Oscar Ray, Javi Martinez, Aymeric Laporte. He would not be getting first-team football with all those other players sitting in front of him, and that's what made him a little bit pissed and ultimately forced to move away. Manchester City coming in saying, okay, we'll pay his release fee clause and take him off your hands. Not something that I was really too happy about, but at least I got some money for him. Maybe I could buy him back one day. John Batista was a very good striker for us over the series. As you remember, he was brought in at the very first season and was my main striker for those first 3 seasons before Villa Libre came in and started tearing up the house. Since then, Batista being relegated to a backup role, I felt that because of the development of Martos and Miranda, he just was surplus to requirements at this point in time, so we sold him off to Panathinaikos for 3 million euros. Aha! As I just said, Javi Martinez is one of those players that forced Victor Garay out of the club, but Javi Martinez himself was somebody I wanted to sell off as well because of, basically look at his speed and his declining physical ability as well. Yes, he's got the defensive stats, he's got the technical ability still there, but there's somebody that I'm bringing in that is much better than him, that is younger than him. You'll see him in just a bit, but Javi Martinez being sold off to Genoa for only a fee of 1 million euros. And finally, the last 2 of note are actually the 2 left backs that I brought in at the start of last season to fill out some depth, and now are being sold at the start of this season. John Artenecha and Enric Sabarit being sold for a combined fee of 775,000 euros. Artenecha is going to Valladolid, and Enric Sabarit going to Cordoba. Now, obviously, they're on the wrong side of 30, and I want to try and get younger. This entire thing is me trying to get younger here, but Sabarit still has the pace about him. Artenecha not really all that well in the pace or the physical ability, but basically I have players in my youth system that are coming up and trying to take over those first team spots, like Roberto and Andres Munoz. Alex Uhia, one of the main reasons why I brought him in. So it felt like it just needed to be done, get rid of these old guys and try and vet in some of the new ones. Now, with all 5 of those notable players going out, there really was only one person on my list that I wanted to try and make mine this offseason. And really it's because I needed to fill a need. That need being center back. With Javi Martinez going, there was only one person on my list that could be of equal, if not greater ability to Javi Martinez. And I believe I found that man. Inigo Martinez is coming into the club for a fee of 25 million euros from Juventus. Now, if you recognize this name, it's because he actually plays at Real Sociedad in real life. He starts the series there, went to Juventus about 3 or 4 seasons ago, and honed his skills there in Italy. But we're bringing him back to Spain, bringing him back to the Basque region, and ultimately bringing in a better player than Javi Martinez is right now, especially in the pace and in the strength department. Because let's be honest here, I needed somebody that could match the pace of Aymeric Laporte And right there, as you can see, 13 pace, 13 acceleration, a little less than Aymeric, but still decent enough. Defensively, looks good, if not better than Javi is. 15 marking, 16 tackling, 16 positioning. Yes, he's 32. Yes, you got to worry about his fitness concerns, but if I can get a decent couple of seasons out of him, then it would be absolutely worth the money. Now, he is coming in for a little bit more per week than Javi was at 135,000. It's about 25,000 more a week than Javi, which originally got me thinking, okay, if I'm getting rid of Javi, I need to get rid of another big named player, and that ultimately led to trying to sell off Inigo Leque, which at this point in time seems almost sacrilege because Inigo Leque has been at the club his entire career. We just had a testimonial for him this past preseason, so it would have been absolutely mental to get rid of him after giving him a testimonial, but to be honest with you, Leque was one of those players that had expressed his desire to leave several times before, so I figured, okay, if the time is going to come, might as well be now, and I tried shopping him around, and teams from Zenit St. Petersburg to Marseille to Bordeaux were all trying to go after the services of Leque, but every single time they were throwing up bids that weren't even in the double digits. I even lowered my expectations. I wasn't expecting 27 million anymore, the release fee. I lowered it all the way down to 15 million, and they still weren't biting. They still weren't even putting forth any double-digit bids. So I figured, okay, if no one's putting in even a fraction, a half of what the release fee clause is, then it's not worth it. Then Leque is going to stay here. And fortunately, he has dropped talks about moving away. So hopefully he actually lives up to his word, at least for this season, and not make any noise about wanting to play somewhere else. Hopefully he can deliver some goods, some trophies here. All right, so with all the transfers taken care of, let's take a look at a quick overview of the roster and also going over the 3 players that have been promoted up from the Bilbao side. The first one being Luis Martos. Now, as I said before, Luis Martos and Carlos Miranda have developed to be a lot better than John Batista, so I had to promote at least one of them. The first one being Luis Martos because he's been in the system for longer. As you can see, finishing of 17, composure of 12, off the ball of 14. His physical and his speed have gone up slightly, but his technical attributes looking a little weak. Hopefully he can work on those, continue to work on those, even though he's still 22. Outside of that, obviously, he's just going to be the backup to Villalibre. Villalibre is obviously the #1 striker, but it's nice to know that Luis Martos and Carlos Miranda are very competent backups and making a fraction of what John Batista was making, so it's a win-win all around. And then the last 2 are center mids / defensive mids that I'm going to use in lieu of Mikel San Jose in that spot because, well, Mikel San Jose is starting to get up there in age himself at 34, and it's Lorenzo Gallego and Iñaki Garcia. It can only be those 2 because they have shown the most promise and the most development out of my players that I've gotten over the last couple of seasons. As you can see, Lorenzo Gallego, he is slated to be a defensive mid, but he looks more of like an all-around player and looks to be more to be utilized in the center of the park. Whereas compared to Iñaki Garcia, it's very apparent that Iñaki is going to be more defensive-minded and has that defensive mentality, especially in his attributes for the defensive side. 17 tackling, 13 positioning, 12 marking. He's got some great pace about him at that. 17 acceleration as well. Physical looks great. Vision and technical attributes are the only ones that I'm a little bit skeptical on, but other than that, both of these players at 18, 19 years old, and if I just am able to hold on to them, then I think that they are going to continue their development and become prime players in La Liga going in the future. Now, as I just mentioned, Mikel San Jose starting to get up there in age. He's 34, and his speed is definitely taking a hit. That's mostly the reason why I brought up both Gallego and Garcia to give them a bit of rotation while San Jose stays more relegated towards the center back role. Because I don't want San Jose just running around the midfield trying to cover midfield ground. If he just stays in that center back role, then I feel that he is going to be more useful there than, like I said, just running around trying to get the ball when he has no pace. So with that said, that's basically the overview of what's been happening at the club coming into this new season. And for those of you who are wondering about what the update is on the stadium should be finished the 1st of October. So a couple more months time before we get a 66,000 seat stadium upgraded from, I believe it was 52. So a lot more players, or a lot more people coming in, a lot more money generated. Hopefully that will give us a lot more revenue and more money, obviously, in the bank to play with. Coming into our first match versus Celta, I know I've talked way too much about all this, but it needed to be said. Coming into our first match versus Celta, it's going to be away from home, and we are going to be coming out in our 4-3-3 formation. Couple of changes because of injuries. Kepa is out injured, as well as Iker Muniain. Kepa is only going to be out for another week because he had himself an ab strain. Iker Muniain a little bit longer, 2 to 3 weeks with a sports hernia. So with that being said, this is how we're going to line up in this opening match. Atangana is going to be coming in as the man between the sticks. Leque, Martinez, Laporte, Azpilicueta along the back line. Our defensive mid is going to be Iñaki Garcia. Our two center mids, Marino Linton Jr. Out on the wings, Williams and Shabby. And sitting up top, Big Free Village himself, Asier Villalibre. Let's get this season out on the right foot. Let's get ourselves off with a win. So let's go kick off and see what happens. And so far, after 26 minutes, there really hasn't been a lot going on as far as shots-wise. Possession-wise has been relatively equal, but Linton Jr. picking up, unfortunately, a twisted knee. So he's definitely going to be coming out. We're going to bring on Ander Herrera. And like I said, it's only 27 minutes on. I don't want to have all these injuries racking up at the very start of the season. That's not going to be good for us. A slow start? Nah, it's not really ideal. I just don't want injuries at all, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, it's come up to halftime. It's 0-0. I'm far from pleased with what I'm seeing from this team. Let's take a look and see what's actually going on here. So let's play more of a counterattacking style. We'll throw the ball up a lot further and be more expressive, and everything else should be fine. So yeah, let's go out there, play a little bit more counterattacking style. Hopefully we can use our pace to our advantage, because Villalibre is fast, Shabby's fast, and Williams is fast. So just use the pace. Get the ball up to the wingers and use the pace. There we go. Ander Herrera inside. Inigo Martinez. Oh, Inigo Martinez tried to flick it on and get his first goal for the club. 53 minutes on now. Shabby into Marino. It's some good, lovely passing out to Williams. Crosses into Villalibre. There we go. He opens his account for the season. Villalibre makes it 1-0 to the club after 54 minutes. That was some lovely passing. Let's take a look at that again. It started out as some typical wing play you'd see from the club that I used over the last few seasons. Then they cut it inside to Marino, to Williams, to Villalibre. Nice little one-touch passing there into the back of the nets. Can't get any better than that. And if you can find someone that does it better, don't show it to me, because I don't want to see it. And now Iñaki Garcia has picked up a damaged heel. So already, first match of the season, and I'm already getting players down for the count with all these injuries. So he's going to be coming out, and I'm going to be throwing in Lorenzo Gallego. Of course, got to give all the youngsters some play time. I do still have San Jose on the bench, but I'm more going to use him as a center back, as I said earlier. Free kick, top of the box, Ander Herrera. Oh, what a lovely strike. Top bins that. And Ander Herrera makes it 2-0 to the club. Looking at that on the replay, that was right on the side of the D, just outside the penalty area. Could have been a penalty. Fortunately, it wasn't, because we suck at penalties. But a great strike from Herrera over the wall. Top bins. Can't get much better than that. Also, starting a new drinking game. Take a shot every time I say can't get much better than that. Overall, I'd say injuries aside, this first match, very well played. Above average to great for most of these players. And defensively, held Celta to nothing. Keeping a clean sheet. That's always great. I'd love to see that. Inigo Martinez with a 7-5 on his debut. So yeah, well done, lads. A great win to start the season. And after that, I mean, there really isn't much to say. We just need to take a look and start seeing what our injuries are going to be. The twisted knee for Linton Jr., 9 to 12 days, that's not bad. Iñaki Garcia, I don't even see his injury on here at all, so thankfully it's not long-term, if anything at all. That being said, let's move ahead to the Champions League group stage draw, which also happens to be on the deadline day of the transfer window. If anything big happens on our end, I'll let you know, but first and foremost, got to do the draw. So this is a bit of an interesting development. Jose Manuel Aguilar has been bought out by Leicester for 3.8 million euros. Now that's great and all, but the fact of the matter is, that makes this weird, is he's not leaving now. He's actually leaving the 1st of July next year. I don't understand why that is. He's got a contract that ends in 2026, so that makes it even stranger. It's not like his contract's running out and Leicester are nabbing him, but I just don't see the reason why he's not leaving to go to Leicester now. It can't even be an age issue either, because he's 19. So I have no idea what the deal is, but at least I have a guaranteed future amount coming in of 3.8 million euros. Just gotta wait a year for it. All right, now it's time to get into the group stage draw of the Champions League. We are once again not top seed because, well, we didn't win the league. So we're sitting down here in the second seed. That being said, let's just draw the first seeds and see where everybody lies. And potentially, personally, I should say, I would like a group, either Benfica, PSV, or CSKA Moscow. That being said, Football Manager's got ears. We all know that. I'm not going to get either one of those groups, or any one of those groups. So let's just fast forward ahead and see where we lie. We're getting a match with Spurs. We are getting matched up with Spurs. So it's a knockout stage rematch from last season against Spurs in the group stage this time around. So, all right, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. Let's take a look and see who we're going to get next time in this third pot. It is going to be Dynamo Kiev. That's a decent draw. And to be all honest, that is a decent draw right there. And then from the fourth pot, Red Bull Salzburg. That is a very decent draw. I have full confidence that we're going to get out of this group. Absolute confidence that we're going to get out of this group. Maybe even in second place. I don't think we're going to win it because if you saw last time, Spurs absolutely dominant in their match versus us. We were very lucky to come away and hold them to just one goal over 180 minutes. But yeah, we're going to be taking them on in the group stage. And in fact, our first match in the Champions League is going to be against Dynamo Kiev. And in fact, that is when we're going to be coming back for the next episode. It's going to be a match versus Dynamo Kiev and Villarreal, maybe? Or Rayo? Dynamo Kiev definitely, but maybe against Rayo. Yeah, we'll go with Rayo. So that being said, guys, I'd like to thank you very much for watching this episode. Of course, as always, if you enjoyed it, please go and drop it a like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And if you would like to leave a comment below on what you thought about the episode, the transfers. What do you think about the transfers going out and then Inigo Martinez coming in? What do you think about that? Please leave in the comment box below. But as always, guys, this is Gendo, and I'll see you next time. Take care, and peace out.